All right, folks, we're going to talk just a little bit about citations right now. Okay, when you're citing things, everyone thinks it's very complicated, but it's really and truly 3 steps, okay? Step number 1 is to create a works cited page with your works cited citations on it. What goes on that page are any sources that you paraphrase or quote in your paper, and ultimately the goal here is merely to lead the reader back to that original source, back to the text, okay? That's what we need to get there. Okay, the second step is to create taglines which introduce your sources in the paper. And the third step is to create in-text citations which take your reader to the source on the works cited page. That's all they really need to do. We'll go into some specifics here. All right, works cited entries. Look, there are a lot of different formats depending on the type of source you've got, yada, yada, yada. But this is the basic idea. The author's last name, then first name, the title of the short work, such as the article, title of a long work, such as the book or journal, volume, issue, date, the pages, and the medium of the source. Now, like I said, it's going to vary a little bit. A newspaper is slightly different, but this is sort of like your basic form, okay? Generally, if there's something that you don't have, we don't have a date, there's no volume, whatever, it gets left out, okay? There are some resources in content this week that you can use to go take a look at some other locations where you can look up some more minute details. If you get 95% there, I'm going to be happy, but I do want to see you get 95% of the way there. So that's your works cited entry. And I always recommend students create these first before they worry about anything else, okay? Why? We'll get there in a second. Okay, so the next step is taglines. Most folks learned about this in English 101. So a tagline is something like astrophysicist Stephen Hawking claims that blah, 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 blah. Okay? Those things should do one of a few different things. They should introduce the author or introduce the source. Sometimes you might want to say something like, a recent article in this journal shows that. And also, the other thing we need to do is sort of explain why this person matters. Even experts like astrophysicist Stephen Hawking, well, there's 2 things here. First, it announces that he's an expert, and B, it indicates that he's an astrophysicist, which is the kind of expert he is in this situation. You don't just want to name drop somebody. You don't just want to say, like, Jim Brown claims, unless your reader is going to know who Jim Brown is. This is a rhetorical opportunity for you to be able to make your sources as strong as possible by explaining who they are and why they matter. In-text citations. So they're called parenthetical citations because they're in parentheses. So you'll see, first example right here, even Stephen Hawking claims that, quote, most galaxies could actually support life, end quote, Hawking 201. Now, I said you guys should create your works cited page entry before you worry about the text. Why? Everyone believes that the parenthetical citation is the author's last name followed by the page number, but it's not. It is the first word in the works cited citation. Okay? That's generally the author's last name. But if you've got a source without an author's last name, let's say it's a government publication maybe, what you're going to instead use is the first word in the works cited citation, exempting something like a and the, those sorts of things. Okay, that means that if it's the author's last name and it's totally normal, you'd put Hawking 201. But if it's the title and on your works cited entry it's in quotation marks, in your parenthetical citation you'd put it in quotation marks. If it's italicized, it'd be italicized. Okay, if there are no pages, that's a situation where we just leave it out. Okay, really, actually remarkably simple. 3 steps. If you can do all 3 of those, you should be in pretty good shape. If you've got any questions as to whether you're quoting, you're paraphrasing, and which one you need to be doing, go back and check out last week's information, and that might help you there. Okay? As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know.